In a scathing critique, Jim Rickards, a renowned economist and best-selling author, has leveled serious accusations against the Biden administration, claiming that they are responsible for the imminent downfall of the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. According to Rickards, the upcoming marginalization of the US dollar will be attributed to Biden's actions, as he believes a proposed common currency by the BRICS bloc, set to be introduced on August 22nd, will play a significant role in this shift. Welcome to Investopads. Jim Rickards, a highly acclaimed economist and best-selling author, has shared his perspective on the Biden administration's approach to U.S. monetary policy. With an impressive 35 years of experience in the investment field, Rickards has openly criticized President Joe Biden, asserting that his actions have resulted in the decline of the U.S. dollar as a prominent global reserve currency. Taking to social media, Rickards expressed his views, stating, "Biden is now a world historic figure. He has destroyed the dollar, not an easy task." With this social media post, Jim Rickards shared his perspective on President Joe Biden's impact on the U.S. dollar. Rickards referred to Biden as a world historic figure and boldly asserted that he has accomplished the challenging feat of destroying the dollar. This statement encapsulates Rickards' belief that Biden's actions have had severe consequences for the status and stability of the U.S. dollar as a global currency. According to the currency expert, a significant contender to the U.S. dollar's dominance is the emergence of a unified currency within the BRICS bloc. This currency would potentially connect the economic transactions of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Jim Rickards emphasized that a gold-backed common currency for the BRICS nations is expected to be unveiled on August 22nd, with implementation taking place gradually. There have been reports from the Russian embassy in Kenya supporting this claim. However, Leslie Mosdorp, the vice president and chief financial officer of the New Development Bank, also known as the BRICS Bank, recently stated that there is no immediate urgency to establish a common currency. Mosdorp explained that any alternative measures in this regard would be part of a medium to long-term ambition. Jim Rickards envisions a merger between BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, two influential economic blocs on the global stage. This amalgamation, as yet unnamed, is expected to create a cooperation group of considerable size. Rickards contends that the formation of this new organization will serve as an inspiration for other nations to unite, solidifying economic cohesion that could undermine the status of the US dollar as a reserve and transactional currency. Nevertheless, Rickards maintains that the dollar will persist as a secondary currency but will be relegated to a marginalized role. This is one of the scenarios outlined in Rickards' best-selling book, Currency Wars: The Making of the Next Global Crisis, published in 2011. In the book, he explores the emergence of a multi-currency world as the dominance of the dollar gradually wanes. Other voices have also raised concerns about the potential erosion of the dollar's value and its consequential impact. Jim Rogers, an astute investor who accurately predicted the 2008 financial crisis back in 2002, recently sounded a warning about the repercussions of the dollar's demise. He expressed his belief that the United States would face challenges stemming from inflation and debt problems, stating that the country is destined to suffer. SCO and BRICS merge. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, and BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, have announced their decision to merge, forging a significant partnership in the global arena. This landmark merger brings together two influential economic blocs, creating new opportunities for collaboration and cooperation among member nations. The SCO, known for its focus on security, regional stability, and counterterrorism efforts, will join forces with BRICS, a group recognized for its economic prowess and potential. The merging of these two entities is expected to yield a more comprehensive and powerful alliance that can address a wider range of global challenges and pursue shared interests effectively. The implications of this merger extend beyond economic and security spheres. The combined strength and influence of the SCO and BRICS will likely have ripple effects on geopolitical dynamics, shaping the future of international relations. As member countries pool their resources, expertise, and collective bargaining power, the merger is poised to reshape the global landscape and contribute to the ongoing rebalancing of global power structures.
Shalom, Kalala Yahweh Bashem Yashai. Ba'Shem Rakal Kodash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of the Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, with the house of David reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 1/3 of Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage, we were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. So in the video we just watched, it talked about the news that's been going around online about August 22nd and how the BRICS nations are going to introduce their gold-backed currency, right? And this prediction happened by Jim Rickards, again, who was, as the video showed, an ex-CIA financial advisor. Okay, it says ex-CIA advisor predicts date when U.S. dollar hegemony will collapse. In an op-ed posted in the Daily Reckoning on Tuesday, former CIA Department of Defense advisor and investment banker James Rickards predicted that August 22nd will be the day of the U.S. dollar status as the world reserve currency and medium for exchange will formally collapse. Many factors are worth considering, including weaponization of the dollar against Russia's economy amid the conflict of Ukraine and the U.S. own national debt of $31 trillion, and recent talks on the part of the BRICS Plus group to create an alternative trade and reserve currency that would rival the dollar. On August 22nd, about 2.5 months from today, the most significant development in international finance since 1971 will be unveiled, Rickard writes in the reference to the upcoming BRICS Plus Leaders Summit, which will unveil plans to substituting the dollar in global trade. This is 2nd Ezra 16-21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So you see, Akim, this is America's reckoning. The Lord is bringing together all these nations in a perfect assembly to ultimately hurt Babylon the Great, which is America's biblical name. You see, and again, this isn't by accident. This is all planned, and I'll show that in a bit. But as we've seen here, prophesied that in the end times, that the world, and for the most part, Babylon the Great, is going to be dwelling in a very comfortable state, right? A state where victuals or goods shall be so good cheap upon earth, right? And when you look around, you could buy a lot of things, even though inflation's gone up 8%, and I'm sure even more than that, right? The amount of money you have to pay for certain things is far below than what other people around the world have to pay, okay? But what's happening is that we're right now going through the changeover to the New World Order. And Esau is making a run for his world empire, okay? And in doing so, he has to collapse the old system to bring his new system in place. Now, yes, it sounds like this is the bad guys or the BRICS nations. They're against the Americans and NATO. But you see, Esau's behind all of it, okay? But you see, China and Russia, these guys are playing their parts, okay? So don't worry about Russia fighting against America and who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. They all are Edomites, okay? They are all the same nation, and again, they're all playing their same role. Now, yes, one group or one tribe of Edomites wants to get over on the other, but for the most part, they're all working on the same side, which is against us, the Israelites, okay? And just like the Babylonian money magic system has worked here in America, it's going to work the same way around the entire world when they move over to this new digital currency, okay? Because, you know, you bet your bottom dollar, right? Or I should say you bet your bottom yuan that this new BRICS currency that's going to be backed by gold is going to be the new digital yuan, or they may call it something else, right? But for the most part, this is going to be the system which the world leaders are going to back, okay? This is why a lot of millionaires and billionaires, world leaders, Edomites, have moved to China and have moved the manufacturing there. Remember, China used to be against America for the most part after World War II, until Nixon flew over there and for the most part made a sweetheart deal with them and offered them a place at the seat of the New World Order, which is the table of Esau, as long as they would go along with the plan, become the world's factory, and eventually usher in the New World Order. Okay, because when you go into Mao Zedong's communist takeover, it was all orchestrated by Amalek, just like Amalek orchestrated the Bolshevik communist revolution. He even orchestrated the French Revolution, and he also orchestrated the American Civil War. There's a lot of things that Edom has been behind the curtain. Okay,
you're in charge. You're in charge of this thing called the United States government / budget, and it gives you political and fiscal authority to do, quote unquote, the right thing.
Yeah.
Would you mark to market balance sheets today and create the economic downside that would follow, or would you put in place or attempt to put in place some kind of economic policies to get you to a better place down some theoretical road?
I mean, how do you solve a problem where you're spending 10% of, you're running a 10% fiscal deficit? You're not going to get growth in the absence of private sector credit demand. So the government's idea right now is we're going to export our way out of this. And when I asked a senior member of the Obama administration last week, how are we going to grow exports if we won't allow nominal wage deflation? And he says, we're just going to kill the dollar. And I said, okay. And he says, we're just going to kill the dollar. And I said, okay.
And he says, we're just going to kill the dollar. And I said, okay.
More, you mean? So that's the only answer.
That's a dead answer.
It's a dead answer, but that's where we're headed.
so you just heard it from a top senior advisor in the Obama administration. This has all been the part of the plan, Akim. There's a reason why inflation has basically hovered around 7,000 trillion or $7 trillion for 215 years, as it shows you here in this debt, right? But when, for the most part, when Obama, and actually even before that, back when Reagan, and that's kind of like when it really kind of took off, when Reagan got put into power, right? He was a movie star, right? He was an actor playing for Edom's elites, right? These globalist elites who are Edomites, okay? At that point, they basically started to make the move over to bring America down to its knees so they could destroy it. And again, starting with Obama, you can see how they basically have just destroyed it, right? And since 2020, it says the U.S. has added $7 trillion since March 2020. Okay, so we're now above this. We're at $31 trillion. There's no way that this is going to get fixed. These devils are putting their foot to the gas all the way to the floor and basically rushing towards the cliff, right, with all of us in the car. Now, what we've just seen with Jim Rickards announcing that on the 22nd, that the BRICS nation, which again, remember, though the BRICS nations are purported to be the bad guys, the enemies, the other people, that's just Esau's new MO. That's Esau's new team that he's going on, right? And he's pushing all the minorities to the forefront to make them be the main characters. But trust me, Esau is in the background, right? The banking system, the power structure, okay? This is Habakkuk 2 and 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay? That word here, clay, is talking about the word abatium, which is ultimately debt. Okay, this here is talking about Esau, Edom, and how they basically just lay debt upon them. They basically covet everything, right? And they're basically built an empire of lies that is built on fake money, right? Because again, they hold the real money. They hold the gold and silver, and they set up this play money for the rest of us. Why? Well, because we're in their storehouse. We're in their factory farms, right? We're their tax slaves. Okay, they don't need dollars. They don't need yuan. Why? Because they own everything. They own the resources. They own the cattle. They own the everything. Okay, and the money that they make, which is they're going to change it over to digital, is simply the vouchers they give us to play the game, right? Which they built and own. Verse 7, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee? And thou shalt be for booties unto them, because thou hast spoiled many nations. All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. So you see, Esau, in trying to bring forward his New World Order, he's devising this huge production, right? World War III, the economic collapse, we know the C-19, all these things Esau has orchestrated to destroy the economy, to bring America down to its knees along with the people, so that way when he brings forward his new agenda, his New World Order, people are going to be begging for it. Okay, this is why they're allowing America to be morally destroyed, economically destroyed, physically destroyed. Just look at the infrastructure around here, right? There is no accident that America has been run into the ground, right? This is why America's president is a senile old man who shits his pants. Okay, the electoral voting political system no longer serves the people. It's been co-opted ever since JFK. But again, this is not our concern as an Israelite, as a Negro, Latino, Native American. That is not our concern. And why? Because we are captives here in America, right? This is the land of our captivity. The system never works for us. It was always made as it's supposed to be, right? To work against us and to be for Esau. And now that this house is burning, now Esau wants to hand you over the deed, wants to give you reparations when the money's about to implode. You see, Esau, at least those Edomites in the know, they're moving on to the next stage in their world domination plan, right? While the low-level Edomites who are unaware are going to be stuck here with the rest of us Israelites, right? And if you haven't noticed, they're killing us off, or at least they're trying to. Vladimir Putin, the dollar enjoyed great trust around the world, but for some reason it is being used as a political weapon. Imposing restrictions, many countries are now turning away from the dollar as a reserve currency. US dollar will collapse soon. This is in 2019, okay? 4 years ago. So again, don't tell me this is not planned. Esau has planned this, okay? And all these people here are just simply playing a role. And another thing too about that video, if you didn't notice this right here, this flag. Does anybody recognize what this flag is? Well, I'll tell you. It's for a little country known as Kazakhstan, right? The country which Borat comes from, right? The one that they make you think is full of mud and backwards people. It's a little hole in the wall. But in fact, when you look at it, it is an actual metropolis. It is a new city built for the New World Order. And in it is the model idea for these new 15-minute cities, right? And as you can see here, you got Putin along with all the other leaders. India, I think this guy is, I want to say Syria or something. But for the most part, all the world leaders of the BRICS nations are here. And what is this building? Looks cool, right? Well, that right there is the International Financial Center. Okay? This is the new city that they've built. And there's many cities like this that are built around the world. So why they allow America to crumble and all these other cities like London and all these other places to infrastructure to be destroyed and just ruined by the inhabitants thereof, they've gone out and built these model cities where they're pushing forward this new world order agenda, right? This whole, everybody is one people, having all these conferences there, right? This is what it looks like. Okay, this is Presidential Park, right? Look, you got a pyramid here, which when you understand what this is the home for the New World religion, which is the home of 17 different religions around the world. And you can't really see it, but over here is I believe a mosque, right? And I think that's like a Catholic church. I'm not too sure what that is, but but when you pull back a little bit, look, you still see the pyramid here in the background. But look at this. This is the presidential house. Okay, and that Phoenix river that we've seen is in between the pyramid and here. And again, remember, Esau's whole symbolism with the phoenix is that he is going to rise from the ashes, or their more popular saying, order out of chaos. Okay, and right here is the big speaking area where he's going to speak to large crowds and everything. Between these two pillars, right? Do these pillars look like anything to you, along with this pyramid behind the dome? Well, let's take a look. Oh, would you look at that? You got the Freemason pillars, Jason and Boaz, right? The pillars which these devils use, okay? And you have the pyramid here, and you got the dome, right? So, and also all the checkered floor. So you see, this is the New World Order that Esau is bringing forward, right? And when you look at this large building, let me see if I can find it real quick. Here it goes. This building here, right? It's in front of the presidential palace. If you look this way over here, the presidential palace is there. In this building, you have this, right? It's a pyramid facing the presidential palace, along with the pillars. Right here you can see that they're building it. And this pillar, or this hand, you place your hand here, right? And what's going on with this? What do they call that? Well, what does this say here? This is called the God's hand, okay? So these devils are going to be doing rituals here and performing their rites, okay? And right next to that, which I wanted to show you, is this religious altar, okay? And what is this religious altar? Well, look at that. The 17 religions or denominations around the world with a signature of their respective leader here, right? Basically pledging fealty to this organization. And like I said again, the pyramid here, it's known as the Peace and Peace and Prosperity Building. Yeah, the Palace of Peace and Reconciliation. Right, and right here is the mosque. But for the most part, in this pyramid, this is where you've probably seen this before, where the leaders of the world religion have come together under the, in this case, the 7th Congress of the Leaders of World and Traditional Religions. Right, and there goes the big kahuna himself, right? The Pope, along with all the other religious people in the world. He even got Amalek here, right? But again, why are they here? Well, because you see, just like Astana, which is what the city's called, is going to be one of the major financial headquarters in the world. It is also one of the main headquarters for the one world religion, which is currently going on. It's literally happened. It just said this is the 7th Congress that happened last year, right? So this means this year would be the 8th World Religion Congress. So these devils are moving forward, and nobody really even talks about this. But again, like I said, this is all part of the plan. And why? And how do I know that? Well, because it tells you in the Bible that these devils are going to go forward with their agenda, and they're going to deceive the whole world. And what's currently going on here for the inhabitants of America is we're about to go through hard times, right? Martial law, or what the Bible refers to as Jacob trouble, is going to happen soon, right? The economy is going to collapse, and what's that going to cause? Well, it's going to cause a lot of sedition amongst people. They're going to go against the government, against the powers that be, and they are even going to turn on each other because, you know, all they've been doing, instead of getting right, they've been out here shoplifting, stealing, luxury goods, right? Not trying to get right. But what's going to end up happening is you're going to have first the riots, then the mass death of people who aren't going to be able to find food, or live without electricity or whatnot. Then you're going to have the government and military come in, and then you're going to have Esau come in with his solution, his forced jabs, his forced relocations, and then eventually the mark of the beast implementation, right? But either way, Akim, I made this video, so I wanted to show you this, right? That we got to be aware that in a few days there might potentially be some very important and devastating news that takes place regarding the U.S. dollar. Now, again, as the video showed, this isn't going to be when the dollar is going to collapse. You're not going to see on the 22nd, they're going to, your dollar is going to be worth zero. No. But that day is when the BRICS nations are going to meet, and they're more likely going to announce a new currency which is backed by gold, which means that the majority of the large traders that America deals with, namely China, because remember, everything we buy here in Babylon the Great is made in China. China, along with all the BRICS nations, they may start using this new currency, which they're going to announce on the 22nd, most likely. And if that happens, prepare to hear a large sucking sound, coming from China and Russia, right? Basically, you're going to have a huge moving of the economy over to those sections, and it's going to basically leave America in the dust, and that's where inflation is going to start going up. We're going to start noticing prices are just going to keep going up and up. Things are going to get worse and worse, and this ain't, like I said, it's not going to happen instantly, but it's going to continue to evolve to the point where we're going to experience things like we've seen in South America, right? Where women are selling themselves for a ham sandwich, right? And then it's going to be hard to get goods, and actually crime is only going to get worse most likely, right? And again, this has all been prophesied in the Bible. Let me leave you with this. This is Proverbs 22:3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Shalom, Akim. Until next time, I want to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakak Dash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles, and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.